Welcome. In this episode, we are going to deal with the new higher education financing model. The government of Kenya, the Kenya Kwanza administration, has done away with the old method of financing the universities. Going forward, the government will no longer finance the universities. The government will be financing the students who enroll for various courses and are categorized into different poverty lines. It is worth noting that although there is a cry outside there that the government has withdrawn their sponsorship in the university level, it is worth noting that the government has increased the capitation for every learner from 152,000 to 208,000 per year. So the government is increasing its money, the money allocated to the universities, but the universities will not receive any money directly, except if the students who are allocated in their universities will have applied for scholarship and loans. The three systems of financing academic will still be there. Changed is the mode of operation. The rest still remain. Higher Education Loans Board still operates and gives student loans. The government subsidy is still there, and the parent also will get involved. So distribution ratios and the method of doing it, all the three ways of doing it are still there. So which mode are we moving away from and which are we getting into? We are moving away from differentiated unit cost, the mode, a method that was introduced in 2016-2017 to finance students depending on their career and depending on the number that choose a certain program and that are in a certain university. That meant that a university that has a higher number of students will get a higher financing and will get higher infrastructure development. And as is the specifically also, the student must be doing some specific courses, STEM courses, as well as technical and vocational courses. So, but the mode has been operational, but the government has found it to be discriminative and want to change. So what do we want to change it to? The government want to change the differentiated unit cost to new higher education financing model. The new higher education financing model categorizes the students and gives them one, a scholarship, and two, loans. And the parents can come in and finish up what is there. But if the parent is not there, then the scholarship and loan will cater for everything. So how will it operate? The students are advised to apply through hef.co.ke. That is Higher Education Financing Portal. When you apply, provide all the information that you have, and at the end of it, the government has put up means testing instrument. Means testing instrument is a scientific way of validating data provided and placing students in the 4 bands. Which are these 4 bands? These 4 bands are vulnerable, extremely needy, and less needy. Those are the 4 categories, the 4 bands that you will be categorized depending on the information that you provide. And as a result, you will be placed and financed based on the following 4 items. 1 is the program you are doing. 2 is the household income, the monthly household income that you will provide. And remember that it is not only the information that you will provide, the system will dig deep into the government databases to provide a validity for that information that you provide. You will have to provide your father's ID. Your father ID will be searched in all government agencies, including NHIF, NSSF, and employment bureaus, to make sure that your father or your mother or your parent or your guardian or whoever it is that you're providing information for either worked for the government or works in a private sector or simply is earning or is not. Depending on the search for the details that you provide, you will be placed categorically. Number 3, you also lean on something we call affirmative performance. Affirmative performance is giving priority to some sectors and some section of people. This is a bottom-up government. Priority goes to the bottom of the lower or the lowest level of the pyramid. And 4, government priority areas. Depending on those 4, you will be placed in one of the 4 categories of the people: vulnerable, extremely needy, or less needy. So how will people be financed based on those 4 categories? Financing based on the 4 categories will be like or as follows. The vulnerable will be financed 100%. So the government, we have said there are 3 ways of paying the school fees. and 1 is scholarship, 2 is loan, and 3 is the parent involvement. The vulnerable will not have part for parent involvement. It will be totally loan and scholarship. There will be higher levels of scholarship and low amounts of loan. The second category is the extremely needy. Extremely needy will also be sponsored 100%. But extremely needy will be sponsored differently from the vulnerable. The vulnerable will have more scholarship and less loan. But for the extremely needy, it will be a balance. Then we go to number 3, the needy category. Needy category will be sponsored 93%. And then the parent or the guardian will come in for the remaining 70%. The government will give you 53% scholarship and 40% loan. Then the parent will finish up with the 70%. Again, for TVET, the needy will pay 20% of school fees. The government will pay you 50% scholarship, 40%, 30% loan, and then the parent or the guardian will pay the remaining 20%. As for the less needy will be a share between the government and you. So the government will take care, will give you more loan, will give you a lot of loan, and then you will also contribute to your school fees. So what does the new model intend to achieve? The new model intends to achieve 2 things. One is equalization. This is one is equalization. Equalization means that everybody gets an equal chance to get government funding. But again, there are several other factors to be considered. While being interviewed on a live television, President insisted on a model where the poor get higher funding than the rich. The president insisted that you cannot afford to pay 100,000 shillings per term in a group of schools and then ask the government to finance you when it comes to university. The people at the bottom of the economic pyramid will get higher funding than the people at the top. Secondly, it is giving education access to the people at the bottom. There are people who cannot afford university education. There are people who have studied through bursaries in secondary school and primary schools. Others have studied in day schools where they were only paying for lunch. And then when it comes to university, you want them to pay 40,000. They cannot afford. Those people, the government wants to give them free university education, free access. So remember that the government has increased funding for TVET. Government has increased funding for TVET from 5.2 billion per year to 10 billion. And remember that government the government is focusing so much on TVET training, where you get technical skills as well as vocational skills to go and employ yourself. So the government is pumping a lot of money in this. They are pumping a lot of money, and that money is to mean that you are supposed to go do that course, employ yourself.